Well, I have to tell you that I felt like I had already met our speaker today, because here I am holding the January article in our News Tribune that talked about her activities during the pandemic. And the title is Pandemic Doodle Project Becomes Side Hustle. And some nice pictures there. If anybody, after you listen to her, is still curious about the article, you can certainly take a look at it. But during the pandemic, she turned to her Scandinavian heritage and used her graphic arts background to doodle and make colorful designs on a Swedish Dalahäst template that she had created. She then decided to make $1 a day for a month. And after she created one, she posted it online. And I believe it was after her 32nd one that she was contacted by Allison Ani Henkel to see if they could make arrangements for her to have a display at the Nordic Center here in Duluth. And she then started making copies of her prints for cards and a coloring book. And some of you may be, as I was, a person who had bought cards down at the art dock because I just absolutely fell in love with those cards. And so she's here today to bring her story, to share the information on her talents. And as you see by the table, she has brought a nice display of her work that she would be happy to sell to you. She did display at the Scandinavian Fest yesterday. So some of you may have seen her work up there yesterday. But if there were just too many people milling around, or you just need more time to take a look at these lovely things, you can talk to Terry afterwards. Terry?
Hi, everyone. I'm going to get this set up here. Maybe I'll talk into this first. Can everyone hear me? Yeah. Wonderful. Terry Glenben. I have Bloom in Art Studio. That's what I started calling my little side gig. And I have a video that was done for me during that first show that I had at the Nordic Center. So I'm going to play that for you now. It's about 12 minutes long, and it'll kind of explain my process here. So.
My name is Terry Glenben, and I'm an artist. I have done this series $1 a day from COVID, end of March to the end of April. I did 33 pieces altogether here. I started at Sheldon Reproduction Center, copy shop in town here, and later was an art director and graphic designer at Maurice's corporate office. From there I went to UMD, and I was the marketing director at UMD stores. So I've worked in retail and design quite a bit. I was actually between jobs, and I was looking at going back to school to be a CNA at LSC. And I was looking for a new direction, but I didn't want to lose my take on art. Because of COVID-19 and the way the world was shutting down, a lot of people were quarantined, and I have a dog. I live alone. I've always doodled and drawn things that it made me happy, especially during COVID. It was a way to come home and kind of unwind from the day. It was just nice to kind of curl up on the couch with my dog and just pick up markers and paper. It's a lot of work, and it's very sad sometimes to watch these people you've been caring for suffer and die. So I turned to my art, I think, for that too. And for Christmas, my parents had given me a bunch of Sharpies, this whole color wheel of Sharpies. It was kind of exciting to try all the different colors, and it just turned into a lot of dollars. The first dollar I did is actually probably my least favorite. It's the most chaotic. I was trying to do every single pattern and shape I could in that little space, and it has all of my colors. And then I thought, okay, well, this is kind of fun. I'm going to only use 2 colors. So that's what I did for the second one. So I had all my colors in the first and hardly any in the second one. And it was pure chaos when I first started. But again, I didn't realize it would turn into this whole body of works. I doodled, I had music loud, I had all my markers from Christmas, a package of like 50 different colors, and I just used almost every color I had. And it was a release. It was fun, and it took me probably the longest time to do that too, because I had no rhyme or reason, no plan, and really none of these were totally planned. I would just see something that inspired me. It was after the third one I did, I noticed when we were looking back at social media posts, because I posted every single day I did one, and the third one I noticed $1 a day. And I think it was after the third day, I just decided I'm going to do one a day. And I had no end date. I just knew that I had the time. I haven't been with my family since this started. It's been a year now since I've seen my family in person. But we FaceTime all the time. I miss my family quite a bit. Being on social media really helped me through self-quarantining. I live by myself with my dog. I would take her for walks. We'd make phone calls or FaceTime moments with friends and family. So this was some way for me to stay connected still with my family and friends. It was a happy place. Well, my grandmother, Grandma Sally, on my dad's side is 100% Norwegian, and my grandfather on my mother's side is 100% Norwegian. And Grandpa was Swedish and German. So I'm Norwegian, Swedish, Danish, and German. So I've got a little bit of everything. I am not sure why I started drawing dollars. It was a nice shape to start with. Thinking of my heritage, reaching out to some family members, retelling stories. I have a lot of Scandinavian things surrounding me in my home. So as I was looking around, I thought that is a really neat shape. And I started with putting the reins and the saddle and the mane on. And then I realized, it's just a nice shape to just doodle in. And so it started with many different patterns and colors and shapes. It's a great icon of Scandinavia in general, but trying to bring back some of my Swedish side. I'm very Norwegian. I'm more Norwegian than anything, and this was kind of a nice way to tie in my Swedish heritage as well. Well, sometimes it's just pen to paper. I start with a black line. I have a template for the outside, and I just start doodling. Sometimes I might see something on Pinterest or online or in a magazine or in a pattern on a purse. And so you might really notice some inspirations from the world in my designs. When you're doing 30 of them in a row and you want each one to look very different, sometimes it's kind of hard. You might find some of the same patterns going on, but I made it a point to make every one very individual and unique. I wanted every single one to be different. Well, a friend of mine told me about Zentangle, and it is a method of meditative drawing. Most of the time they're small and they're black and white and maybe some shades of gray. And so it's more those patterns, and it's methodical, it's meditative, it's flowing. And so you'll see a lot of Zentangle inspired techniques in my drawings, although I am definitely not an expert, but I've made it my own. And I call it Terry Tangle. I put birds on a few of these. I've always loved birds. I don't know, it just seemed like there was space there. He needed a buddy. That horse needed a buddy. I have 6 of my dolls with birds on them, and I think those are my favorites. I love all the ones with the birds. I love the black and white ones. I would saturate them with color so much. It was just nice to step back and just use a dark line and a thin line and just focus on the pattern itself. So one of my favorite dollars is one that I designed for my mom, actually. I know her favorite color is red. And I had various shades of red Sharpies with a red flower and vines, maybe a little tulip type pattern, and leaves. And then I thought, I need to add a bird to this. Goldenrod in it, and then the green, and it's a wonderful Christmas style horse, dollar horse for my mom. I made it for my mom. I don't think any of my designs are traditional. I've never really thought of doing an actual traditional dollar. I really was more about the design and the time I spent with each one and the colors. So none of them have been a traditional dollar design. It's more about the actual shape. The dollars helped me through the pandemic, absolutely. Drawing has been a therapy for me through the pandemic and through life. It's very intuitive. It's just a release. So that flow right from your soul to the paper, I don't know how to put it, but it comes out. So it just needs a release. Yes. I don't know how to say that.
Thank you. So this is just, whoops, oh, it moved again. This next part was just showing each of the dollars that I had done. I don't know if this is loose. There. Well, this connection maybe here. This is the one that's connected to my computer. And this was on for a minute. There. Whoop. Anybody got some chewing gum we can stick in there? Anyway, so I actually did about $33 because I did do $1 for Lilac Love Fest. A friend of mine does an event called Lilac Love Fest. So one of my very last ones actually has lilacs in it. So I did a little over a month, but it was through March into April. So it was, I would not go to sleep until I finished $1. I did $1 a day, but it didn't always happen before midnight because at that time I had gone to school to be a CNA and I was working at Benedictine Health Center and covered, head to toe. This was my escape. So before I went to sleep, I would finish $1. So I worked 2 to 10 there. It was a lot. And we were very short-staffed. There's some of the last ones there. That was Jeff Schmidt in the gallery who helped me set that up. He has Lizard's Gallery downtown, and he's been a wonderful friend to help me set these up.
Well, I don't know if me standing there did anything, but...
Thank you so much. Thank you. And you might know maybe some of the musicians that worked on the video. I had a great group of people who helped me with this. Lucas Nielsen, I believe he's changed his last name now. He took his wife's name, Walls. Yeah. Do you know him? Yeah. Wonderful. And I met him during the pandemic. He was stuck here and wasn't able to work, so he went back to school and offered to do this video for us. Let's see, that's something else. So I have I have this here now. Okay, that's my funny little logo, Bloomin' Art Studio, and I'm on Instagram and Facebook. I'm bad at keeping up on my website. I did just update some things, but most of the time you'll see the latest work on social media. It's fun. It's a free place to advertise what you do. I like flowers. I'm a graphic artist and marketing person by trade, but like I said, when COVID hit, I was working in the restaurant business and all the restaurants closed and people weren't supposed to be near each other, so I went back to school. And so it was a great opportunity for me to explore my own art instead of doing graphic design and art for everybody else. Sorry, I have my back to you guys over here. So that's how this all kind of came about. These were some of my posts. I had to number them because I was getting lost. But darling mandala dollar doodles, bloomin' dollar doodle, and then $1 a day on the third day. And another day, another dollar in dollar, bloomin' dollar art, red zen mandala dollar, and it went on, and then some dollars have all the fun. So it went on and on and on. It was really a lot to think of what to do. So this was all through 2020 in March and April. And like I said, well, number 31 is the one that I did for Lilac Love Fest, and then I did a couple of extras. It was a way to connect with everyone, when you're homebound or, just going to and from work. It was a great way to keep in touch with my friends and family on social media, so it really got me through. This was the Nordic Center, my very first show, and thank goodness for Allison Ani Oftedal. Allison Ani Hinkle. She helped me work through this, and we got a grant, and we actually had big posters made, because again, nobody could really come in. We couldn't have more than 6 or 8 people in the building at a time, so my whole show was virtual. So nobody really saw the actual originals except online if they signed in. We did some Zoom things. Lisa Lungi Larson, I don't know if you know her, she's written a few books. She did some storytelling on a Zoom program. Allison Ani did some kids' crafts. Everything was virtual. So we put up the big posters just to announce what it was and try to get people to go online. These posters are actually framed, ginormous ones, in my tiny apartment right now. And again, thanks to Jeff at Lizard's Gallery. He helped me bring those home. So here, we had the virtual tours, the workshops, the storytelling, very limited viewing in person. So I just really appreciate that they let me do this during a time when we were all on lockdown. These are some of the things. I didn't have them framed right away. It's a big expense to get things framed, so Jeff helped me get them matted and helped me hang them. And so that was really fun. These are all, again, just with Sharpies on paper. I still have all the originals. I might be working on another one-time last show of all of them before I sell them. So it's nice to have the whole collection together. I also set up a display of some of the things that I have and been handed down through family and friends. And again, a lot of them are Norwegian. My grandpa on my mom's side is 100% Norwegian, and that cabinet there was actually made by his sister, Ingeborg, and brought over. She was the first to homestead in North Dakota and then move into South Dakota and then later Minnesota. So that's my grandpa's sister's cabinet that she made. All of these here, some Swedish, some Norwegian. I have some books and everything. And I don't know if we ever have any events here where you bring in like a little show and tell. I can certainly bring some things in, but I've been very fortunate to be able to collect some of these things from family and keep them safe. There's another little picture of some of the things I have. I was the Santa Lucia at my church growing up. I did, and I did not spill the coffee. I did a little story for the Nordic Center on my aunt, great aunt, my grandpa's sister, great aunt Ingeborg. There she was there on her 85th birthday skiing to church in her dress. Old wood skis. She made the news. I was on TV, so it was another way. I was really excited, my first time on camera, so I had to take a picture. They did a great job promoting the event. Again, it was all virtual. This is my favorite woodswoman ever. Alice and Ani introduced me to Rachel Johnson. She's the one that cuts out all my dollar shapes. So I gave her a doodle, a shape. I do 3-inch dollars, 5-inch dollars, and she helped me make some larger ones as well. She doesn't have heat in her wood shop. She's in Mattawa, Minnesota. So we meet as she comes to town, or I go down there. Again, I'm sorry, I've got my back to you guys here. But she is fabulous. And so she gets a lot of her wood from a sauna. I think it's in Ashland, Wisconsin, scrap wood. So sometimes it's even cedar. Most of the times it's pine. Or my dad's garage as I clean that out. So here's a big board my dad had given her, and she was really excited to show a full piece there. But she's fabulous. She was actually at the festival yesterday. She played violin towards the end of the festival, so down in Mattawa. I love her. These are how they come to me. I've changed the shape a little bit, the curve of the head and that, but these are what I started with, 3-inch, 5-inch, and 8-inch dollars. And I would burn them first, and then it's like a coloring book on wood. I paint them, and I use Sharpie oil-based or acrylic markers. I love my Sharpies. Here's some here. This is at Dovetail Cafe Marketplace here in Lincoln Park. And again, it's just a shape I can doodle in. It's nothing traditional, but they've been very fun to do, and I'm glad people really enjoy them. So again, I start out, and my home smells so good. It smells really good when I get this done. I usually set up 3 or 4 wood burners, and I'll have different stamps on some of them so I can stamp those doodles. the little swirls or a heart or a flower. So I'll keep that one going, and then I've got other ones that do different things like the polka dots in the flowers, and then another one that I draw with. So I need a very safe space to get all hot. There's a couple of them there. My dad made me that little wood thing, so I stamp on there to make sure it's hot enough. Got all kinds of doodles on that. There's Jeff and I. My second show was at the Dovetail Cafe and Marketplace in their cabin space. So that was really nice that they let me set up in there in September of 2021. So my show, again, in the Nordic Center was January 21. This is September. My hair's getting a little bit longer. I had such short hair back then. So he was really wonderful, helped me set this all up, and now I have them framed. And they do, I'm in this space consignment shop. I do sell some of my things there as well. This was the third show I did at the Nordic Center. It was a group show called The Horse of Course. So a lot of artists were invited to be there, and it all had a horse theme. So these are two larger ones that I did on paper. And again, it's just using Sharpies, just basic Sharpies. And you know, we were masked. But we had a group. It was a nice group. This was a show I did up in Cook, Minnesota. I'm a member of their gallery up there, Northwoods Friends of the Arts. And this was May 22nd. And I just kind of showed what I already had. I didn't do anything new for this particular one. It was just a members show. They have the streets lined up with tents and other vendors that day too, with music, and like the fire department was there, you know, practicing hosing things down and stuff. So it was a big community celebration that we were part of with this gallery. These are 12 by 12 dollars that I had Rachel do for me. They're actually 3 of them she cut out and then glued together to make it nice and big and chunky like that, so that I could wood burn them and paint them. And unfortunately, I had one here, but I sold it before the meeting even started. My friend came all the way down because she missed the sale yesterday. So that was the small work show last year at Lizard's Gallery. So that was really fun to be a part of. I've been in the media. Perfect Duluth Day did a story on me. So did the Northern Wilds magazine up in Grand Marais. And then, of course, I was in the Tribune this January. So it's been fun. I didn't think this would be such a big deal, but people catch on it. And I hate to always refer back to the pandemic, but that's when everybody's life changed. And that helped me, again, explore my own artistic talent a little bit. I was always a graphic designer and marketing, promoting other people. So it was kind of fun to get in there and actually pick up a pen and paper and actually doodle something of my own. I also do these little gnome ornaments, wood burn, and paint these as well on wood slices. This is a fun thing. Again, I do Instagram and Facebook, and I have had friends send me pictures, and so I've been posting them on social media when they color my coloring book. It's so fun to see what they do. These are some flat ones. I ordered these online because sometimes I'm just couch crafting, and sometimes I'm actually wood burning with hot things where I need to be more careful. So I do have these flat ones as well. These are the Sharpie markers that I use. They're acrylic, and so one has like a paint edge to them, and the other ones have more of like a rounded tip on it, but that's what I use to color. So first I use like a regular black fine point Sharpie to doodle it, and then I color it in with these Sharpie creative markers, they're called, and they're acrylic based. And I got some birdies now too. And this is me yesterday, and thank you so much for inviting me to this festival. It was my first time being a vendor there. I had a blast beyond my expectations. I've always gone, I've attended it, but I never thought my things were cool enough to be there. Again, they're not, It's just a shape that I doodled in. It's not like an original one. And I had so much fun meeting everybody and explaining actually what a dala is. I have kind of the history of it in the cover of my coloring book so that people know, wow, yeah, they're usually more of an orangey red color. They're not all weird doodly like this, but it's kind of fun to share that history. So.
Where did they hold this at yesterday?
In Proctor, at the St. Luke's Sports and Events Center. It's on Kirkus Drive. They've been in a few places, they told me, around, this was their 44th anniversary festival this year. And it's a beautiful space. There is an arena there, but there was no other events going on inside that building. And they're on 2 floors. They make fresh lefse. They have beautiful, it's held by the Rosemalling Club or Society. Yeah, the Twin Ports, I think, right? But people actually come from all over. I met a couple from Wisconsin that drove 7 hours to be a vendor there. Someone from Grand Rapids, in the Twin Cities. So they were kind of from all over. It was really special. And they had really good treats and coffee and stuff. So that's it. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you all. And I do have some things up here for sale if you're interested. Otherwise, I carry my things at the Art Dock in DeWitt Sites Marketplace, out here in Lincoln Park at the Dovetail Cafe and Marketplace, and also at Lizard's Gallery downtown on Superior Street. So, yeah, that's what I do right now. So, thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Terry, for your program.
Yeah.
And I'd like we also